Audio Jungle.
Hello my flock, Badraven here. We are here to do a great review for Ready Player One. Let's get right into this review. I appreciate you all coming out the flock to watch the Badraven on this review. I've been looking forward to this movie. It just came out. Me and the son watched it on Thursday, the very first day it was out. And we have nothing but good things to say about this. This is Spielberg classic all the way. I had a little reservation at first watching because, you know, I haven't seen a Spielberg movie in so long, feels like, even more like a science fantasy type movie like this in a while from him. He's been more to his dramatic side than anything else, and this was a great throwback to the 80s for me. This is a spoiler-free review, so everyone out there can go out and watch this movie. I don't want to overhype it. It does have its problems that I want to tell you a general guideline what you will think about it, so I don't want to overhype it. It is a good movie. Alright, Ready Player One, of course, is directed by the one and only Steven Spielberg. The man, the myth, the legend, the person that I always looked up to in the 80s with the E.T., the Jaws, the Raiders of the Lost Ark, all the Indiana Jones type movies. He had so many great movies out, and he produced a lot of great movies too. So he had a big role in my life as growing up of a great filmmaker, and he still is a great filmmaker. I just love his movies to this day, most of them. So I'm going to get into who's in it, and then I'll start talking a little bit about the premise. I know you've probably seen a lot of the trailers for it like I did, but I only watched the one trailer, so I don't want to give a lot away, you know. You know I am a trailer. I don't like to know too much about it. Alright, the main character in this is Ty Sheridan. He plays Parzival. I think that's how he pronounced his name. He plays Wade. I think it's Wade Wilson, I think is his name in the movie. Because he said his dad was one named after a superhero. One of them have a superhero type name, I guess. Then you have Olivia Cooke as Artemis, which is a cool name. She plays the character of Artemis. That's her. Parzival is Ty Sheridan's virtual reality avatar, and her Olivia Cooke's avatar is Artemis. Her name is Samantha, though the character's name is Samantha. So everybody has their own avatar in this, pretty much, even the bad guy. So then we have Ben Mendelsohn as Sorrento. You got Lena Waite as Ek or Helen. You got T.J. Miller as I-Rock. Simon Pegg is Ogden Morrow. Mark Reliance is Anarch or Holiday. That's the eccentric trillionaire that made the Oasis. That's him. Philip Show is Show. Win Moratsky as Dadel. I'm probably getting all these names completely wrong. Hannah John Carmen as Fennel Zandor. She's a bad woman in this movie. The bad guy. Ralph Ensign as Rick. Susan Lynch as Alice. That's pretty much all the main cast. I probably did too many of it anyway. But like I said, this movie is set in the future. Spielberg likes to delve in all different time periods. It's set in 2045 Columbus, Ohio. That's where Wade lives. Parzival lives. And what's happened to the world is pretty much, it must be like pretty well, many people as crammed in as they can, because they got like trailers stacked, you know, on top of trailers, and there's tons of people, and he said they just stopped working on their problem. They just want to try to outlive their problem. So that's kind of a neat concept if you want to do something like that in the future. So everybody is pretty much, you know, crammed into this place, and they have nowhere else to go really, because it's so hard to see the world, I guess, because everybody's so packed in it. So they go to their pastime, which is the Oasis, which is a virtual reality game that they put on the goggles, and they go to this world where they can do anything they want to. They can be whoever they wanted to be, and have get away from the real world, I guess you could say. It's kind of their drug of choice. They're able to escape into this world. And like I said, this is Spielberg at his best, his fantasy-loving best. He makes worlds inside of this oasis that you could never ever imagine could be invented. And as far as nostalgia goes, it was like 80s Nirvana for me. I really got into the 80s nostalgia of this, the music, the movies. They show, characters from all different 80s movies, and they had like little Easter eggs all in the movie. I was telling Andrew as we watched, I kind of hit him on the shoulder and like tell him, "Hey, did you see that? Did you see that one character? Did you see that on the wall?" I mean, that was just stuff I was paying attention to the movie, but it's all these cool little things were being thrown at me, and I remembered them from the 80s, and it was like so awesome. I know I'm going crazy because I'm an 80s lover. You know about my channel. If you know anything about the Badraven, I love the 80s. So I was seeing this stuff pop up everywhere, and I'd love when the Blu-ray or the HD, the ultra high def comes out, because I want to freeze frame this and see all the Easter eggs. There's tons of Easter eggs I didn't even get. I saw stuff I didn't even expect, and it has so many levels of this in there, and I was like going crazy. I was like Andrew said, I can't believe it. And there's one thing in there that totally blows my mind. It was used, and if you know anything about my channel, you'll know what I'm talking about when you watch the movie. I don't know, it kind of goes up quick, but still I couldn't believe it was in there and it was used. It was a weapon. I'll give you that. It was a weapon that was being used. I won't go into details of what it was. Just see if you can, if you figure out which one it is in the movie, because there's a lot of weapons in this movie I recognize from the 80s. But if you know which weapon I'm talking about, please put it in the comment. I want to see if anybody knows the Badraven enough to know what weapon blew my mind from the 80s that was in this movie. It is totally used so great in the movie. I just almost jumped up and cheered for that part. And when there were not many people in it, because it was a matinee. But I mean, if you love 80s, I mean, you're going to see stuff. Andrew missed a few things of it because he's an 80s lover too, but he didn't grow up in the day of the era, so he missed a little bit of the musical cues and stuff that I just like latched on to. But he knew a lot though. I mean, from the DeLorean was in, of course, you've seen that in the preview, so I'm not giving anything away. And that's just the tip of the iceberg of some of the great 80s stuff in it. So if you're from the 80s and you love the 80s movies back in the day, you gotta watch this, because it is like 80s Nirvana, I want to say. It's 80s classic. So I ate that up. They had great, some good performances there. The main character, Wade, he was all right. I mean, I didn't think he was the best choice you could probably make as a character, but he functioned very well. I think he did well with the story. I see why Spielberg got him, but I would probably went a different route with him. Not that he did a bad job. He was from, I've seen him in other movies like X-Men. I think it's either X-Men Days of Future Past or that last one, X-Men movie, I can't remember. But I've seen him in other things. The bad guy was, there's some flaws. The bad guy wasn't the greatest bad guy, but what can you do? I mean, what? It's what it is. But I mean, let me give you the premise. See, I didn't go into this. I'm sorry if I jumped into the review. The premise of the movie is everybody, like I said, was in their own world, in the Oasis, and the main guy over the Oasis, Holiday, has died, and he left a little video in the case of his death that he was going to give a player in the Oasis a chance to find an Easter egg, and if they find this Easter egg, they will be able to be the owners of the Oasis and control it. They'll be able to control the Oasis and be the owners and make all the money from it. And by Easter eggs, if you're not in the video game world, that's when they put little things in there to find that you either like the creator's name or little like special scenes in a movie or something like that. If they do it in movies, and they also do it in video games, and they're called Easter eggs. So they have to do a bunch of challenges to find 3 keys to be able to unlock this Easter egg and win the game. So that's what Holiday is doing with the give away this chance to be the owner of the Oasis. So that's the main premise of the movie. Like I said, you had the 5 the 5 good guys on here. I'm trying to think of their names, what they called them. They were called the something 5. Put it in the comments what they were called. I can't find it on my little laptop here, but I haven't read the book, so I don't know how accurate with the book it is. But I mean, I really enjoyed it. Like the cons, there are some cons where the movie is way too long. It's a little over 2 hours, about 2 hours 10 minutes or something like that. I felt draggy parts in it, which I know they had to build up the whole lore of the Oasis, and they had to tell the backstory of the creator of Holiday, what he went through, because it's a major part in the storytelling, I understand. And then you had to build up Wade and why he's doing what he's doing, and all the other rebellion people that are out there fighting for the Oasis to survive. You have also in the storytelling, you have this bad company that wants to take over the Oasis. So they're sending people in the Oasis, like professionals, to try to win all the levels to get the 3 keys. They're sending in multiple people all the time, trying to be able to take over the Oasis so they can control the masses. Basically, what they're doing. What I was saying is the main cons of this movie kind of drags way too long. They needed to kind of tighten it up a little bit. They think they got on some tangents there. They did have some cool stuff in it, don't get me wrong, but they could have tightened it up, I think, and could have made it maybe hour 45. You know, you got a little more faster pace there in some points, because toward the end it really kicks in. But you had all the building up, I guess, to give you some caring about the characters. But I felt invested already. I think they could have done something better, a little bit better. The story's not the greatest story in the world. It's, basic good against evil, stuff like that. So I mean, it's not the greatest story ever, but it's okay. The bad guy, like I said, is your corporate overlord type thing. So I mean, that's been done before. He's an okay bad guy, but I didn't see him as a devastatingly evil person. I mean, he does evil things, but still, I didn't think he was the greatest evil character he could have done, I could have had. But the one thing I did take away from it was the message. If you stay through the whole movie, which you should, the message at the end is great for the new kids coming up, the millennials. It's something that they need to hear. They need to hear about. I can't say what it is because I don't want to give it away. With it, it touched me really good about why the Holiday character was trying to aim at for the new generation, and with his kind of like problems he had with him growing up. It's neat the way he breaks down what's really important in life, put it that way. At the end of the movie, you'll get the overall feel of what I'm talking about. That brings it all together. I like the way that was brought up at the beginning of the movie. They integrated that with the storytelling, and at the end it pays off majorly with this great message. And it's not beat over your head message, it's just common sense message. And I think the young people need to hear this now, especially in our day and time, the way we're heading. I think it really is a great message at this time. I see Spielberg's fingerprints all over this message, because it just comes off as great. It's a great message. That's my review of Ready Player One. Did you watch it? Did you like it? I mean, it's not the greatest movie ever, but I give it an 8 out of 10. I think you need to watch it on the big screen with all the action scenes. You get really into this movie. You get really pulled into nostalgia. If you love 80s, go watch this movie. You will not be disappointed. I love the 80s. I loved all the Easter eggs. I loved everything about that part of this movie, and I love the message, and you will too. If you really listen to what they're talking about in the movie, you will come back with a great feeling inside of you. So I just wanted to say thank you for watching. I appreciate everybody coming in and seeing the Badraven. Remember, we throw up the sign. We throw the sign up. The Badraven means to support the Badraven. We have a Patreon account, and we would greatly appreciate if anybody would want to join the Elite Bad Birds for just $1 a month. And I'll put your name on the end of every video and say your name to the flock, so they know you are the member of the Elite Bad Birds, so that you can be the elite of the elite. So please try to do that. We want to thank you for watching, and we appreciate it. So we're going to let you go, and goodbye.